All right, happy March 13th, 2021. It is Saturday evening instead of Saturday morning, and welcome to the channel. I hope the audio is not blown out like it was last week. Boy, have people had fun with that one. I don't think there's anybody in yet. I am watching the live stream, so as you start filtering in, kind of let me know you're here. I did go back to mic setup instead of working on that hot mic out of the laptop. Now, the one thing I will tell you is that I do believe that the batteries on the Zoom, because I'm still testing this thing out to see, this I think is the fourth time I've used it. It'll be for about an hour. It says you get 4 hours on a pair of AA batteries, so we'll see what happens. Hey, Shane Higley, what's up, man? Can you hear me? Let me know in the comments if you can hear me, and make sure you hit that thumbs up button, that like button. I see 18 folks filtering in here. Hey, Jordan, let me know if you can hear me. Also, if you've not tried, I'm not sponsored by Bubbly or Buble or Bubbly Water or whatever it is. This is the sparkling water. This is the cherry, and there's 0 calories, and it's not horrible. It's not horrible. Lewis, how you doing? Can everybody hear me? I can't tell if you can all hear me. Richard, loud and clear. Sounds good. All right, so hopefully it sounds better than it did last week. People were telling us that we were completely blown out. Yeah, I'm not using phantom power. This mic doesn't require phantom power. I do have the option to do that if I ever pick up a Shure SMB7, which those mics are smooth as butter. We may do that. So we're going to do a few things on the stream that I'm kind of excited about. Hey, Bob. So this morning, I did have to move the live stream from this morning to this evening. There was a site down. I had to attend to that. And it was, it's Comcast. And if you've dealt with Comcast, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, quality is mint. I appreciate that, Lewis. So, yeah, I will not be using that built-in mic anymore. So we got a lot of things we're actually going to cover tonight. We're going to cover, now I am going to do full videos on this and release it. Tomorrow I've got a video coming out about the edge router and a particular command to help you learn the edge router. And then the QNAP video comes out early this week. And then Synology videos, and then everybody's waiting for the TP-Link videos. But tonight we're going to talk about the QNAP NAS. We're going to take a little bit of a look at it here on the live stream. We're going to talk about the TP-Link Omada controller. If you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you'll know that TP-Link did send me a full stack, so I'm going to put that together. We're going to take a look at that. And I ran out of room in my half-height switch rack. So I have a rack. If you've been following me for a while, I have a rack that is completely switches. I take that back. There's a UDM Pro in there. But I ran out of room, so I needed something else. So I did buy a new rack. We're going to talk about that. If you follow me on TikTok, you saw that video. And I do want to take a second to thank everyone for being here, because I do appreciate each and every one of you. You'll find some affiliate links down below for some of the things that we're going to talk about. Jacob Johnson made it. I know. Mark asks, hey, on your Protectly special, what's the default password? The default OpenSense password doesn't work. Yes, that is another video that I will be getting out. I'm going to release it tomorrow too, as well as the Edge Router video. So if you've bought the Protectly special, the username is admin and the password is Sharpie with a capital S, and it will prompt you to change it. So Mark, let me know that you got that. Admin and Sharpie. Root, I have disabled root by default. You should not be logging into devices as root. You should not. So we created an admin account and we made the password Sharpie with a capital S, and it will prompt you to change it. So that will be in the video and in the notes as well. So I'm going to crank that video out tomorrow as well. How's everybody doing, by the way? Is everybody doing good? Everybody's maybe getting back to a little bit of normal, right? Hopefully. Let's do this. Let's switch over to this screen. So I have this new full-size rack. It was delivered Thursday. And I'm going to do a time-lapse video of putting it together. It's nothing super spectacular, but what I really like about the nav point, however you pronounce that, what I really like about these, first of all, they're only like 2 hours from me. So when I order one, I get it the next day, whether I have Prime or not. They always show up next day. But what I really like about it is it's got the casters, so I can move it around. There is an affiliate link for this below if you're looking for one of these racks. There's several things I actually like about this. So the casters, so I can move it around. Then on the back end, let me see if I can bring this picture up. So back here, you'll see that there's more metal here on the back than there is up front, right? Which means I can load this with the switches sticking out of the back, and I don't have to worry about this thing tipping over, and I don't have to bolt it to the floor. So there's a lot of advantages there. And then, of course, it comes with standard cage nuts, but you know we're not going to use those. You know how I feel about standard cage nuts. But then it also has the square holes so that I can use, any of the other mounting solutions. I could even use the cage nuts if I wanted to. So I got to get this put together here in the next couple days so I can start getting some switches and gear moved into it. So I've got a PDU for the top of it. So there'll be just a little video. I'll probably, just do a time lapse and put some music to it or something. I thought that'd be kind of cool. So that's the first thing that's new that's coming. And then I actually, believe it or not, I had to buy a scanner today. So, getting tax stuff ready to go year end. I've got so much paperwork. And, if you've got like a Google Pixel or you've got, it could happen on, I haven't really touched iPhones for much besides email and calling. But on my Pixel, I've got an app, a Google app that lets me like scan documents. But man, it is a pain in the butt. So I actually went to Office Max today and bought an actual scanner. I know you're as surprised as I am. Bought an actual scanner to start scanning documents and stuff. So I got to get that done. So my goal is to have that to the accountant by Monday. Let's see. Over to the comments real quick. Abele says, looking into TP-Link to switch my network. And Brian Coates, I hope you're doing well too. Everybody's here. So I don't think anybody else from the... so we are the bigger group of tech folk. We're going to be called the Nat Pack. That's been kind of decided. Unky Joe actually bought the domain nat-pack.com. And so we got to get a website up. We've already got 2 other creators that are joining us there. And we are looking for more creators to join us all the time. But then as far as the other fellers from the Tech Quartet, I don't know if any of them are here. I know that Tony said he was going out to dinner tonight with friends, and not sure where Unky Joe or Joe Trelli are at, but let's see. All right, so somebody says I'm a little quiet, so I'm going to turn it up just a smidge and see what happens. We'll see if that's any better, but I'm pretty excited about that. Pretty excited about that rack to get that put together. So, the other thing, Grandstream has their new UCM 6300 series out, and I've got the 6302. We've kind of been deploying quite a few actually. Like, well, when I say quite a few, that's kind of relative, but we've done like 6 in the past 2 months of the 6300 series, right? So they're becoming more popular. And I have a customer who, hey, Ryan Rattel, he's a friend and a customer of mine. He made it. And there's Cody with Mac Telecom Networks, Steve Yoder. So my weight loss goal is coming along. The last couple of weeks have been kind of stressful. I know that's no excuse. I have kind of slipped a little bit. I didn't lose. Anyway, I actually, over the last 2 weeks, gained a pound back. But still on track to hit that 10% by July, if not more. So, getting back into running after you haven't done it for a while. Whew. Anyway, yeah, Dennis Warwick is with us. He's a customer and a friend, and we have an appointment early in the morning. to get to the point where we're going to be porting his phone numbers over to Telnex, and we'll have a go live date. Dennis, and everybody else, so I talk a lot about Telnex. So what'll happen in the process is we'll upload a copy of and anybody, so not just Dennis, but anybody who deals with Telnex, deals with us, or deals with anybody else who deals with Telnex or any other company, but this is Telnex specific, right? So if we're going to port your numbers, what'll happen is you have to have your last month's bill from your current provider, and then you have to have the LOA, letter of authority, or some people call it a letter of agency. I've seen it used, but I think Telnex, I can't remember what it says at the top of their PDF. But anyway, you have to fill that out, and you have to have a copy of the last month's bill. Then we log into the portal. We put in all the phone numbers we're going to port. We upload those documents. We will get an email back immediately saying, hey, this is going to happen in 2 days. But it doesn't happen in 2 days. So don't get excited when you get that email. What will happen is you get closer to that 2 days, you're going to get an email that gives you a realistic date, unless you can pay to expedite the port, which sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. So we usually see like a 7 to 10, maybe 14-day turnaround on that port. But what's in this box, and I really wish James was here. Let me ping James real quick. I know James is out working on his porch, but let me pull up Signal, and let me ping James. And I'm going to say, hey, James, I'm in the middle of the live stream, and I'm getting ready to break out the Grandstream 6304 if you want to see it. Of course, James will actually get to log into it and stuff like that, but when he does stuff like that, he's remote, so the gear is usually here, and then he remotes in. James and I have a VPN between our houses. But this is the Grandstream UCM 6304, and I am super excited about this device. So if you had a 6204, you will know that that is not rack mounted. By the way, the 6200 series, still 100% valid. It all depends on your use case, and we are still moving a lot of the 6200 series. The 6300 series we're looking at different use cases for this, but just right out of the box, the 6304, and I'm going to do a video on this before this gets shipped to the client. This is for a Canadian client. And I'm still waiting on some gear. I'm still waiting on their door stations to show up. They should be here Monday. But this is the 6304, and you can look at how sexy this thing is, right? And the one thing I'm not a huge fan of is how the rack ears, how the front of this has the rack ears basically attached to it, because here's why I don't like it. Then the feet are already on the bottom, and this thing was brand new in the box, so they're attaching the feet, but then they got the rack ears. So if you're, we may have to figure out where we're going to put this in the rack if these rack feet are going to cause spacing problems. And maybe we want the extra space there. I don't know. But, Dennis. Yeah, Dennis just reminded me. We lose an hour of sleep if you observe daylight savings time. We spring ahead at like 1 a.m. I forgot about, I'm going to have to go to bed early. I think I've only got one thing on the calendar. I got to make some adjustments for a customer in a foreign country on their Unifi tonight. So anyway, back to the Grandstream 6304. There will be a full video on this, but just so you get to see it. So there's the LED screen, some status lights, and then you'll see the all the lights for the FXS and FXO ports. And then over here we've got USB 3 ports. We've got an SD card slot. The OK and down button. Now, the really cool thing about this is I was lucky enough to be basically an alpha tester, Grandstream Insider, whatever you want to call it, for the 6300 series. And they actually listened to a lot of the feedback that we had. And one of my big sticking feedbacks was when you plug a UCM 6200 series in, it's in route mode, right? So you use the WAN and the LAN port. It starts handing out IP addresses on the LAN port. I don't like that. We don't use those in the United States. We never deploy them that way. It's my understanding that in Asia, it's a very popular configuration, but here we don't use it like that. So on the 6300 series, they actually come in switch mode by default, which is awesome because it's much easier if we have a client who wants us to ship it directly to them. It's a step that we don't have to deal with. So on the back, one thing I do like now is they have color-coded FXS and FXO ports. And then you have the you can put this in route mode. So it's got a WAN port, a LAN port, and all of the new 6300 series now have that heartbeat port. I don't know if you can see that, if this is going to focus for us or not, but they all have that heartbeat port. This has got dual DC, plus it's powered by PoE. So you could have this PoE powered first and then have those DC adapters for redundancy. And then you've got your grounding lug back there. And the really exciting thing about this is you're supposed to be able to put all 6300 series in high availability using the HA100 with all of the 6300 series. Now, I haven't had a chance to try it yet, but you can bet your bottom dollar that as soon as I get a chance, we are going to test that, because high availability installations are becoming more and more common. And right now we do them with the 6510 with an HA. But if I could do two 6301s, you're talking about a sub $300 PBX that I can now put in high availability mode with that HA100 in the middle. And that's going to be fantastic. So over to the comments, Ryan says, got a link to the door station. You'll have to check my Amazon link. If it's not there, let me know and I'll add it to the store, Ryan. All right, so let's hop back over to the other screen. And let's take a look at what else I've got here. So I've got this QNAP NAS. And hey, Mark, shoot me an email and we'll talk about that. I'm not sure what's going on with that, with the Protectly, but shoot me an email and I'll follow up with you on that. Hopefully they loaded the right one. All right, so what I've got here is I've got this 2.5 this QNAP NAS, which if you're not familiar with QNAP, we're going to start doing QNAP videos as well. Now, I do not have it connected to the internet. I am connected directly to it. And so it's a little complainy because it wants to talk to the internet. It wants to, do time lookup and some DNS lookups and things like that. But you'll see, I mean, this looks, QNAP and Synology, they kind of look the same. Got the trash bin down here. And when I do the video on this, we'll kind of go over the apps and things that are available. But what I really like about this is it's 2.5 gig. So let me see if I can actually bring it up in a 10.10.10.1. I'm going to bring it up in Windows Explorer, maybe. All right, so here we are in Windows Explorer. So we'll just go into the Home folder. And then what I'm going to do is I've got this folder called Xfer, and I've got like massive amounts of files. Not really a huge, massive bunch of files. But what I'm going to do real quick, now I am directly connected using QNAP's 2.5 gig. By the way, if you buy one of these Sabrent devices and it doesn't work, the troubleshooting, like they wanted to know the IP address and everything, and so I gave them the information, told them that I had static IPs that wasn't good enough to get an RMA, so I will not be recommending the Sabrent devices. If you're looking for a 2.5 5 gig, go with the QNAP. Also the QNAP box, or the QNAP device, like worked out of the box. So now this machine that I'm transferring from, there's a few caveats. So when I do the video, I'm actually going to use my MacBook with the M1 Pro. So there's a few caveats to this, in that this machine that I am copying from, yes, it has an M.2. However, it is doing a lot. It's encoding this stream. I've got some other applications open, so we may not, see the whole thing. So, but let's see what happens. Let's check a larger file. So here I have a Mac OS Catalina ISO weighing in at 8.7 gigs. So let's copy this over to the QNAP and let's see what kind of speeds we get here. And see, right now, it's probably not going to be really good because this machine is doing all this encoding. So when I was testing this without all the software running, I was hitting over 200 megabytes a second, which is over 2 gigabits. So right now, this is not a real fair test. And so I'm actually going to stop this because I can promise you that that is not how it really works. But like I said, this machine that I'm on is under heavy load. Maybe if we try something smaller, let's see. So here's DSM-7 for Synology. Let's try and copy that and see what happens. I mean, it's going, but yeah. So I didn't know how this would actually work with this machine encoding video. So that's why I needed to put that disclaimer up front. So let's talk a little bit about QNAP. And it seems like in the news every day we are seeing something about QNAP NAS and their operating system and about how there's a security vulnerability and all this. So there's a few things. Let's put this in perspective. So I reached out to my my contact over there, and I said, look, when I talk about QNAP, I need to be able to let people know, like, is this secure? Do you really have these problems? So a lot of the problems that are happening that we see is because people are not updating. They're not doing standard updates, right? So they've got these things running. The admins are not updating them. You have to keep your software up to date. The other thing is they have more than 3 million devices deployed right now. Now, Synology has not told me how many devices they have deployed, but QNAP said there are 3 million plus active devices. Now, these devices do occasionally ping back home, which is why this thing is not happy. Unable to obtain the latest app update information online. So it wants to reach out to QNAP and get that list. What is going on here? I wonder if I've got... Okay, so maybe there's something different going on with this. Why was this disconnected? That's interesting. So maybe I've also, besides the encoding of this live stream, got something else going on with this too. But, excuse me. So the apps that come on this QNAP, of course, License Center, Virtual Network and Virtual Switch, Notification Center, QBoost, QSync Central, QTS, SSL Certificate, QLog Center, Resource Monitor, SSD, Profiling Tool. Oh, and this is interesting. So I went to Hybrid Desk Station, and it says, I agree to be liable for downloading and installing any software not developed by QNAP on NAS system and agree not to infringe or violate any right or interest of a third party. I agree. I'm going to say okay. However, this is not going to be able to reach out and get that. So when I finish the video, this will be reaching out and be able to do that. But I will tell you that this little QNAP is super snappy. Let's see. Control panel. So it's a TS253D. It's got an Intel Celeron and 4 gigs of memory. And I think that this OS needs to be updated. I haven't had it connected to the internet. I did a ton of testing, and here's the thing, right? So QNAP, they opened a ticket for me, and because I couldn't get full speeds. Well, it turns out it was this Sabrent adapter was the reason I was not getting full 2.5 gig. But they worked with me. I let them remote in. I mean, they looked at this and then they're like, you know what? Let us send you the QNAP adapter, and we'll see. And they sent me the QNAP adapter, which I got here, and I also have the 10 gig, and it works. And you're going to see that in the video when I'm not encoding a live stream. But back over here, you can see that a lot of the NAS stuff it's pretty similar, right? So this does have an HDMI port, so you can do a couple things. And this hybrid desk station allows you to turn your NAS into a home theater media player or a desktop substitute. So you can hook a monitor directly into this. You've got a multimedia console. You can surf the web on this thing. Well, that's not what this is. This is the web server. The LDAP server. It's got SQL server. You can see it's running MariaDB, syslog server, antivirus, and I'm sure. Oh, so you can see you can do the same thing with this as you can a Synology. You can install that McAfee, and so I'm assuming that on the back end, when you use the free version, it's running ClamAV, the most popular open source virus scanner. A Radius server, TFTP server, NTP server. You can see we've got network and virtual switch options. And adapter 2 is only connected at 1 gig. And so what I did earlier is I was rearranging things and I plugged them into this USB hub. So that is probably likely part of the problem. I don't know if I've got an extra USB port. Let me see. I can unplug the entire hub, but if that happens, then I lose audio and all kinds of things. So multiple issues going on there. Let's see here. So that is definitely the issue there, but you can see that the onboard is a Realtek 2.5 gig adapter. And of course you can have a DHCP server, all that good stuff. I don't have any of that running. Here you can enable the Microsoft networking. You can also set this NAS up as a domain controller. So you can see it's pretty much, once you know one system, is once you figure out their nomenclatures and their naming conventions, you're pretty much going to know all the systems, really. Domain security, domain controller. So I'm pretty excited about this. But you are probably all more excited about this Omada controller than anything. But we're going to go to the comments here for a minute and see what you all are up to. All right, so hey, Lisbon, Portugal in the house. Thanks for being here. Mark says he's a big QNAP fan. And Dennis says the polish on the Synology is great. It is great. DSM-7 is great. But QNAP also has a huge following. Otherwise, there wouldn't be 3 million plus devices deployed. Now, I will tell you this. I've got a Canadian pharmacy owner who's a customer of mine. And he has a huge QNAP at his pharmacy and at home. And then I know for a fact there are some police departments that are running QNAP as storage for their body cams. But, all right. So we talked about the rack. We talked about the UCM 6304. We had a disappointing failure because of my own setup, not because of the NAS on that 2.5 gig transfer. I need a machine that's got more onboard USB ports apparently, but I am going to use the MacBook M1 when we do these transfer speeds. So this thing is pretty much unsullied. It's just got Mac OS on it. It's got Signal on it, and it's running the default apps and stuff. So it's still super quick. Anybody have any questions real quick before we hop back over to TP-Link Omada? Comments are pretty quiet. We don't have as many viewers this evening as we usually do on a Saturday morning. It would probably help if I went ahead and scheduled these too. But and I am building. I've got all the gear here to build a network, a home network, and I'm going to do a TikTok on it probably after this. But so the head end of the network is a Protectly. And then we're feeding into Netgear switches. We got 2 48-port Netgear switches and 3 8-port switches. And then we're running all Grandstream GWN 7630s for all of the access points. And we're doing a lot of Mac-based VLAN stuff. And so I'm probably going to film some video, and we'll see if I can, I might just have to do that on my own. I've got Netgear switches, of course, so I could do that. But Terry Johnson says, it's not quiet here trying to tuck 4 boys into bed. Good luck with that, Terry. Trust me, I get that. I've only got 3 kids, but You know, it's something. Daryl says, I hope none of the QNAPs are exposed to the internet. They've had a track record over the past few years of gaping security holes. Yes, so they have had some security issues, but let me ask you this, Daryl. Do you think if the admins were doing the right things, wouldn't a lot of those things also be mitigated? Bob asks, have you done anything with the multi gig SFPs? And I have them right here. I bought these myself. Nobody sent me these. These are MikroTik, and they're going to go in a QNAP switch. So you're going to see the QNAP 10 gig switch, because I also have a QNAP 10 gig NAS over here. Like I said, QNAP and I, we are working on forming a relationship, just like I have with Synology. So they did send some gear over, and it's all about time. Just got to get to it here, but they know we're working towards it. Yeah, and Jordan brings this up often, about designing network gear from scratch. So I think there's some open source stuff, Jordan, and you may just need to figure out how to get the firmware for that. That might be really the key. Let me tell you this story too about something that happened yesterday, and it was really weird, right? So, me and a friend were walking for lunch. We walk out of this building. We're going to walk to lunch. We're going to walk. It's almost a mile where we were walking, and we were just picking up a pizza and personal pizza, just a little 8-inch pizza. But anyway, we walk out, and this guy stops us, and he's like, "Hey, man," you know, and he explains like his religious background and stuff like that, and he explains that his friend, she's like this God-fearing, like fire and brimstone, and you know, he says, "I'm low on money," and they say if I send this guy, you know, $500, that I'll get $6,000, and he didn't even. I'm like, dude, that's a scam. And he's like, well, do you really think it is? Because she sent this to me. And I said, dude, if it sounds too good to be true, it is probably a scam. And he thanked us, and we went along our way, right? So we walk, and we almost are to where, well, we're about 3/4 of the way where we're going. And this dude comes out of nowhere again. Out of nowhere. Like he's waiting for us, right? And at that point, I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. And he starts talking to my buddy. He's like, hey, man, you look familiar. Did you work at this place? And my buddy's like, no. I tried to kind of like keep walking. He thanked us again for letting him know that that was a scam, and that apparently his friend had been hacked, and so it wasn't her that really sent the message. And anyway, so we keep walking, and we finally get to the pizza place. And I kid you not, this dude is like, it's like, I don't know if he was like following us or what, right? But here he comes, and he sees us, and we're like coming to the door at the same time. He goes, oh, you guys are eating here? And we're like, yeah. And my buddy's looking at me, and I'm kind of looking at him. And I go to open the door for the guy, and he goes, no, I got it. So we go in, and we eat, and we're getting ready to leave. And this dude comes up, and he goes, hey, you know, do you know such and such that works over at this place? And I'm like, yeah, I know this guy. He's like, well, tell him that I said hi, and gives us his name and everything. I'm like, yeah, no problem. So we repeat the name back a couple times just to make sure that, we remember what it was. I tell my buddy, I said, look, we're going to take a different way back. We're like going to take like this back way, and we're not going to be like out in front of these buildings. We're going to like take this alley. And 3 times, I don't know, I just had a weird vibe, right? And sometimes you should trust your gut, right? So we take this back way back, and we're like walking back, and I look at my buddy and I said, look, you're going to go tell this person that this person said hi. And if he says that this person died 5 years ago, I said, I'm out of here. Like I'm done for the day. Because it was just so weird. Now it turns out person didn't, but it was just one of those things. I was like, you know, like, I don't know. Is there something going on? I don't know. Right. But like, I was getting a little uneasy the third time this dude just kind of like popped up out of nowhere. So we did take a different way home and, or back. And I was just like, whew, weird. Right. So that you hear those stories, right, of those things happen. And then somebody's like, no, this person died 5 years ago. I was like, good Lord. But all right. So let's go over to the comments real quick. Dennis says his good cousin was a Nigerian prince. Yeah, his cousin was a Nigerian prince. That's hilarious. Alonzo's in the house. Alonzo, I signed all the documents for our company, man. For our company, Rouge Networks. All the documents are signed. I'm waiting for them to get me gear. So, All right, Bruce says, quick question. What's your current recommendation for IP PBX for a small business? Looking at a UCM 6301. Thoughts? I think the UCM 6301 is the perfect PBX. In fact, any of the Grandstream devices that are still supported, the 6100 series is only getting emergency critical updates, so don't invest in one of those. However, if you want to learn and you want to do it inexpensively, go out to eBay, pick up a 61 whatever, factory default it, throw the latest firmware on there, and if there is a security problem, then Grandstream is patching those. They have committed, and they have done that a couple times, and they've been awesome about it. 6200 series is going to be so there's a difference between the 6200 series and the 6300 series. The 6200 series runs Astros 13, and the 6300 series runs 16, I do believe. And so they've got different capabilities. The hardware is a little newer. However, I do believe that the 6300 or 6200 series is going to do great things. Now, depending on your use case, Bruce, the 6200 series, you might be able to pick it up for a song. And if you don't need any of the features that the 6300, like the remote connect and stuff like that, if you don't need that, grab a 6200 and you're probably going to save a few bucks. And they've got a beta firmware out, or I don't know if it went to here. We can actually check real quick whether that firmware is still beta or whether it went to general release. Let me pop over to the screen here. So, let's see. Oh, yeah, GWN series has got a new beta out. That's fantastic. Okay, IP PBX appliance, the 6200 series. Yeah, look at this. There's a new beta. And I'm running this on mine, and it's working great. Now, you can see that the 6100 series is EOL. Now, and I pushed them on this, and so I'm very glad that they added this language. And it says 1.0 to 18 is the last support firmware for the UCM 6100 series. You're feature locked. You're not going to get any new features on the 6100 series, but will continue to receive critical security updates and major bug fixes, which means they are committed. If you bought this 6 years ago, they are committed to keeping that PBX running. I would say probably you could easily get 10 years out of a 6100 series. And if you don't need those new features, just know if you buy a 6100 series, I don't think it could be under warranty. Unless some vendor has one of these kicking around the warehouse somewhere that's unopened, but then that would be a weird situation. But the 6202s, 6204, 6208, still awesome devices. I have all three of those here. I don't have a 6510. I need to get my hands on one of those for the lab. But we set up a lot of those. But you can see right here, they've got the 20.34 beta firmware. So they're still pumping out new releases. Now, 6304, 08, 01, and 02, there's not complete feature parity on these. The 6300 series can do some things the 6200 series can't. Let's take a look. So the GRP series is quickly becoming my favorite Grandstream phone, and it's because there's one firmware to rule them all, whereas on the other lines, each one has their own firmware. However, if I'm not running a GRP series phone and you've worked with me, you know these high-end IP phones, the GPX 2170 was our go-to, and the GRP series is now coming in hot, and we really, really, really like it. And you can see here that we've got firmware 1.0.8.56 must be the same. I don't know if it's the same firmware. No, it's not. It's named different if you look at the name. So, and then there's a ringtone pack. Here's the Wi-Fi phones, the decked cordless phones. I don't have one of these IPv10s. They're very expensive. Let's see. I do have a GAC 2500. It's one of my favorite speaker phones, conference phones. Let's see. What else do we have? Control stations. You're going to see a video on this, the GSC 3570. I did buy that myself. And I do have a GSC 3510, which I really, really like. And I also have the GDS 3705, but this other customer is having the 3710. So the difference between the GDS 3705 and the 3710, the 3710 has a camera, the 3705 does not. Also, the keypad on the 3705 is a steel keypad, and then the keypad on the 3710 is not, it's like a super heavy duty plastic, and lights up. The IP cameras are great. And then you can see all the end of life products down here, and they still keep the firmware around. So yeah, so Grandstream definitely, in my opinion, the way to go. If James was here, James would tell you that that's the way to go. So, all right, let's see. Practical. Hey, Jeremy is in the house. If you guys haven't checked out Jeremy's channel, go check it out. And Bruce McDonald, I hope I answered your question. Bruce, if you need more specifics or you need help designing that system, that is something that we do offer. So you can head on over to the website, fill out our form, and someone will be in touch with you as soon as possible. We are cranking out the phone systems this year. Last year we did 3,000 handsets, and we are on pace to do that again this year. Jeff says, yes, I have a lot of crazy people talk with me as well. Not sure why. I guess that I have a face that welcomes conversations with nut jobs. Well, I'm not saying this guy was a nut job. I'm just saying that 3 times, I'm not sure it's coincidence. I was very uncomfortable. And, you know, usually I don't know, are people with beards, are they less approachable? I don't know. So while you're all here, while I've still kind of got your attention, whatever you're drinking, if you're drinking a bubbly or a whiskey, or if you don't drink alcohol and you're having water or whatever, kick back, enjoy. Let's move into the smooth world of TP-Link Omada. All right, so if you follow me on Instagram and Twitter, earlier today, before I had to run out, I posted a picture of the TP-Link Omada on-prem controller that they sent me. It's an all-steel device. It's about yay big. And this is it. I put it on my VoIP network because I don't have the 6304 on there yet. And I wanted to isolate this stuff and just get up to speed with it real quick. There will be a full stack video coming very soon on the heels of these other videos. But I went ahead and browsed to it, and you and I are going to do this together. So I have installed, so TP-Link, I will tell you this, and some people are very upset about this. The look and feel of their controller is going to look and feel like Unifi. Now, I've got to dig under the hood. They both run on Java. They both run MongoDB. However, I looked at the jar files that run the Omada, that they are named differently, and you're going to see some different things in this controller. Now, TP-Link, I don't know if they're like skating this line where Ubiquiti could sue them. I don't know that. What I do know is if they designed the TP-Link Omada controller, and this is what I think they did. I can't prove any of this, but just looking at it and trying to put the pieces together, I think they designed it to look like Unifi so that when you move away from Unifi, you could move to them very quickly, be up and running. Now, I don't know this for sure, and Cody, you're going to have to tell me because you've already broken into some of your devices. What I don't know, I think, but I could be wrong, is that you can actually independently control all of these devices without the Omada controller, but the Omada controller allows you to take all of the TP-Link devices that are Omada capable and control them in a controller. So they can be standalone or they can be in the controller. So here we are. This is the hardware-based TP-Link Omada controller. Let's get started. So we're going to click the big let's get started. Should I zoom this in? Is anybody watching on a device where I need to zoom this in? All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's get started. Controller name. This is going to be Willy Lab. Oh, Lab Omada. Controller. We are in the United States. We are in the Central Time Zone. Okay, so here is something that's completely different from the get-go. They want us to select an application scenario depending on our needs. We will guide you to configure and optimize the parameters of your network according to your scenario. Very interesting. And every one of these is going to have very different needs, very different configurations. So I find this very, very interesting. So mine is going to be home for now. And next. All right, so there are no devices waiting to be. I haven't plugged any other devices in. I wanted to set this up to see how close it was because I downloaded the controller on Windows, and it just boom, it ran, and it feels faster than Unifi too. So we'll go next on that. We will go ahead and put the TP link. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to call this FBI van. Make sure you can't see this. Because I'm going to straight up swap out the Unifi gear that my kids connect to, and they're going to have to live a TP link while we're testing. They will love it. All right, administrator name. I'm going to do whow, willie@howx5.com. We're going to put super secret password in there. Now, we have the option of binding this to the Omada cloud service. I do have a TP-Link ID, and I do have a password because I did this. However, off the top of my head, I don't remember what it is, so I'm going to disable cloud access temporarily. I'm going to click Next, and administrator name is whow. That's all good. I'm going to click Finish. And let's see what happens. So what you can't see, what my picture is hiding, is just a little swirly thing. All right. So here we go. Omada SDN controller. We've got a remember me, a forgot password. We can scan the QR code to go ahead and download the Omada app. Perfect. They've got a support link here. Let's see what this looks like. From the United States, go. Download Center, support videos, frequently asked questions, TP-Link community. Let's see what that's all about. Oh, look at this. Submit a ticket to ask for support or call directly. What? Come on. Replacement warranty. TP-Link emulators. View the web management interface of our products. Compatibility list. GPL code center. So, find a company that honors the GPL. That's perfect. Cloud service status. Huh. Interesting. Who owns TP-Link? Here's the community. So let's go to business. Let's go to Omada Cloud SDN. Oh yeah, look at this. It's a forum. It is a forum. They got stories, knowledge base. Very interesting. Contact technical support. Home support, business product support. Look at this. Knowledge base, live chat, support, phone support. Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific, you can actually get phone support for VPN and load balancing routers, unmanaged, easy smart, and smart managed switches, and indoor and outdoor wireless. That is phenomenal. Look, phone number's right there. If it was Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific, we would call this number and see what happens. Warranty policy. Let's see what kind of warranty. So here's the other thing about this gear, the TP-Link gear. The shortest warranty that I found is 2 years. And some of this gear has a limited lifetime warranty. So they're coming out swinging. They are definitely coming out. Okay, so here it is. TP-Link home products have a 2-year. Business products all have a 5-year warranty. And other products have a 1-year warranty. Oh, this was before January 1st. Okay, so of 2016. So as of January 1st, 2016, home products have a 2 to 3 year warranty. Home accessories have a 1 or 2 year warranty. Business products now have a limited lifetime warranty. Very interesting. Internal fans, so they've got an asterisk here, right? And the asterisk comes down here and explains these 3 things. And look at this. You have 5 years of warranty from the end of sale date. So even after they stop selling it, you still get 5 years of warranty. That's interesting. TP-Link business accessories, 1 to 2 years. TP-Link outdoor products, 2 years. Pretty good warranty. So we'll see. We're going to have to call support. Do you think that they'll... I better run it by my TP-Link person first before I just call support, because I will ask not easy questions. All right, let's see. Cloud status, everything is working well. All right, that's perfect. Okay, so back to the Omada controller. I'm going to log in. And real quick, let me check the comments here real quick. Alonzo says he's ordering the Rouge network gear in May. Yeah, I'm waiting for them to send it to me so I can do full stack videos. Like, we worked this out. Like, I had a phone conference with them. I signed all the legal docs. I'm waiting for gear to show up. I don't know that TP-Link Omada is going to be good for ISP stuff. So we'll see. And Able, we're going to find out over the next couple of weeks if Omada is a true Unifi alternative. I don't know. Cody from Mac Telecom says he's in bed drinking a bubbly. Here's to you, sir. Everybody should congratulate Cody. He rolled over 15,000 subscribers on YouTube. That is a feat in our niche. So congratulations to Cody with Mac Telecom Networks. And he says, yes, they can be standalone. So there's a huge difference right there in the TP-Link gear, is that you can buy all this stuff that's Omada compatible and suck it into the controller, or you can run it standalone. They are doing things a little different. All right, so let's take a look. So we've got this overview here. Know the status of your network at a glance. Panels divided into sections, statistics and monitoring, site management, admin, and settings. I don't think it's going to take me long to master this, considering how well I know Unifi. However, in my cursory glances at this, they are doing some things differently. This, though, does look very familiar. So you can see why the Ubiquiti purists, the Ubiquiti loyalists, why they are super upset about this. Because but if I was a company, and here's the thing, there's no original art anymore, right? Isn't that the saying, like, that artists are always copying from each other? Whatever, but if I was a company, I was like, look, I smell blood in the water. I'm going after these customers. I'm going to do this different. Maybe borrowing some design elements are not a bad thing, because now I can like quickly onboard people off of one product onto another, and you don't have to relearn an entire system. So there are some things in here that I really, really like, and we're going to get to that. And of course, as I put devices in here, so you've got topology map, and you've got the map, you got a devices list. I mean, so they did, some things that, but I get it. I'm not saying it's right, it's wrong. I'm saying from a business side, if I'm going to onboard large amounts of clients, why not make my product look similar? I think that's where that's coming from. And did they steal code? Probably not. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing, right? So Cambium and Grandstream and TP-Link, when I open up their products, I get a copy of the GPL. I don't get that with Ubiquiti, by the way. I don't get it. And they use a lot of open source stuff in their products. And you've heard me say that time and time again. All right, so here's our admin settings. You can see, and I have all sites, and I can adopt devices, manage devices. What happens when I edit this? I got to put my password in first. All right, so down here to settings, there's one thing I was, look at this, full sector DFS, auto failover. Auto failover is used for the controller to automatically maintain the mesh network. With this feature enabled, the controller can automatically select a new wireless uplink for the AP if the original one fails. Channel limits, so we can set channel limits. Automatic upgrades. Get rid of the automatic upgrades. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, wired networks. We've got internet, we've got LAN, and of course a gateway is required. So a lot of this stuff is going to come once we get that set up. We can do our wireless networks here. Network security, though, look, we've got ACLs, switch ACLs, EAP ACL. So that's completely different. Completely different. You can't do ACLs in Unifi at all. Also, if you'd like to see an edge switch ACL, I have now translated my Cisco knowledge into edge switch knowledge and successfully set up ACLs on an edge switch. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments and I'll pump out a video real quick because it won't take long. Maybe like a 5-6 minute video on how to do ACLs on an edge switch. URL filtering, gateway rules, EAP rules, attack defense. Now, of course, this isn't like a full-blown IDS, IPS, but you get where we're going with this. Transmission, you've got routing, static routes, policy routing. Unifi does not have policy routing. Not as policy routing like this. Now, if you watched my UDM video last week or the week before, whenever it came out, there are some cheeky ways to kind of accomplish policy routing without calling it policy routing, right? So Cody, we should do a thing on TikTok. Cody's on TikTok too, Mac Telecom Networks. We should do a thing on TikTok that says, tell us you can do policy-based routing without telling us you can do policy-based routing, right? So we got static routes there. Here's our NAT, port forwarding. We got ALGs. Session limits, bandwidth control. So I'm really excited to hook this up and see what this is all about. Here we've got VPN, gateway. You got to have a gateway. You got profiles, time range, groups, authentication. You're probably going like, Willie, where's the stuff that you're excited about? I'm getting there. So hold on just a second. So we've got our portal here, 802.1x, MAC-based authentication, radius. All right, let's look at our services. Dynamic DNS, SNMP, Universal Plug and Play, SSH, Reboot Schedule, PoE Schedule. That's nice. I do like that. We can export our data, PoE Schedule. Super useful. Super useful. Let's see here. Did you see it? Let me do it again. Did you see it? All right. Check this out. We're going to scroll down, and we're going to get to this little section right here. If you assign a domain name to the Omada controller for login to eliminate the untrusted certificate error message that will appear in the login process, you can import the corresponding SSL certificate and private key here. Check this out. You can import your SSL certificate right here. Makes my video, well, if you're using Unifi, you still got to use them, or you don't have to use my video, but you know, there's instructions out there. But my video has helped a lot of people. I get at least 2 emails a week, people asking for the new updated stuff. But here it is, right here, in writing, right there. We can import the SSL certificate. I'm excited about that. It's almost like some of these other companies listened more than the other company, like they heard. Anyway, down here we can specify our controller host name IP, can change the IPs there. I was super duper excited about this. Cloud access, we can turn that on. So here's our maintenance. So it looks like built into this device there's 3 gigabytes of storage. Bruce McDonald, we do ship to Canada. Yes, we do. Thank you. MAC address, uptime 11 hours. I plugged this in this morning. It automatically got the correct time and date. It's not 6:35 though. Yeah, it is. Holy cow, it's 6:35. Whew. This is the OC200 1.0. Here's backup and restore, hardware controller options. Here's migration. So you can do site migration, controller migration. So you can do complete controller migration or site migration. So it's very granular, or the whole enchilada. Here's auto backup. So you can see they are doing some things differently. The one huge glaring thing that Cody confirmed, and I will confirm as well when I do my video here in the next week or two, is that the Omada devices can be configured standalone or brought into the controller. You don't have to run them through the controller. So I will experiment too. I would have to assume if they are joined to the controller, that the controller settings will override the local settings, but I can't confirm or deny that at this point. But I am super duper excited about the TP-Link stuff because it looks like this could be a real contender. I've had people for years recommend the TP-Link load balancer, and I never ran one, but TP-Link reached out, and I was like, you know what, let's do this. Let's give it a shot. So I am going to do another video though on so tomorrow I am going to go ahead and drop that OpenSense video along with the Edge router video, and apparently some folks do want to see the ACL video, so I will get that out there as well. And I do think it's a very this is going to be a very interesting. I don't want to speculate too much, but I think TP-Link is onto something. Is definitely onto something. So if you got any questions, now is the time to put them in the comment. I am going to move from bubbly to hard coffee here in just a minute. So I've got to get my scanner hooked up. I've got to get all the tax stuff scanned for the accountant, get that done so I can always breathe a little bit better when I paid the tax, man. That's one of those things, like when I hear people say, oh, I owe taxes, I'm like, you had the money, just pay the taxes, But, so does TP-Link have a UDM Pro alternative? Yeah, so Cody, I'm also trying to get Tony over at QuickTech hooked up with them. I'm also trying to get him hooked up with Synology. And he deserves it. His channel's fantastic. His video production quality is out of this. If it was Bitcoin, it'd be going to the moon. Or if it was GameStonk, right? It'd be going to the moon. Or what? I don't know. I don't know what these kids are saying anymore. But yeah, I'm super duper excited. But the Dr. Carpy says I can't wait to see their UDM Pro alternative. So we'll see. Yeah, Cody, that's one thing I did notice. Oh, well, you know what? If you will all bear with me for like 6 shakes of a lamb's tail, I'll grab the box of gear and we can look. I haven't opened it all, but we can look at it. I got to move this UCM. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves real quick. I got to open the door. Let me grab the TP-Link gear. Stay right there. Don't go anywhere. Like, give me just a few seconds here. I got to get this UCM out of the way. I got to set it over here and hope that my stack of technology doesn't fall. I hope you can still hear me. Here's the box. Bingo, bango, bongo. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so here's the first thing, and this is another thing that I think made people mad, this is the AC1200 wireless multi-user MIMO gigabit indoor-outdoor AP. It looks very similar to the Unifi mesh, but it is not the Unifi mesh. It is the, it is definitely not there, but I mean, it's even got, I mean, look at this. It's even got on the side, they even talk about the blue LED on the side, right? So people are upset because the gear looks like another manufacturer. But here's the thing. You can, you don't have to use this with Omada. This thing, and look, on the top, 2-year warranty. 2-year warranty. All right, let me grab the next piece. The next piece is, yeah, so look at the box. Just the box for this thing. This TP-Link, but this is an 802.11ax. This has this access point. This access point has a lifetime warranty. It has a lifetime warranty. Zero touch provisioning, all around centralized management, intelligent monitoring, advanced wireless tech, optimized network performance with band steering, airtime fairness, beamforming, and load balancing. 802.11k/V roaming, PoE Plus support. So it's 802.3AT PoE Plus. 4 times increased capacity. So this has the OFDMA and MIMO. and they're saying that overall speed that can be accomplished is 1.775 gigabits. Now, that is a combination of the 5 gigahertz and the 2.4 gigahertz. I gotta assume, yeah, this only has a 1 gig port, so this doesn't have a multi-gig port either. But you can do Facebook, SMS, voucher. It's got access control, isolation between clients. It's got all the stuff that we expect. WPA3, personal and enterprise, 802.1x. But it is huge. The box for this thing is a ginormous. I mean, so we'll see how big it is. You know, it's probably like, you know, and there's some stuff in there. Hopefully, I didn't just break it. That was a joke. Let's see. Ow. All right, the next thing that I've got in the TP-Link box is the Jetstream 10-port gigabit smart switch with 8-port PoE+, and this is rack mountable. This will go in the new rack. So I have another TP-Link switch that they sent me. It's a 24-port non-PoE switch, and I absolutely love it. It's got a lifetime warranty. It does all of the things we need to do. You know, layer 2 features, you know, 802.1q, MAC, STP, RSTP, MSTP. You can do lags, port isolation, LLDP, MED if you're doing VoIP. It can do 802.1p or DSCP QoS. It can do rate limiting. Let's see. It supports standard ACLs. That's got denial of service defend. And you can, once again, run this as standalone. You can SSH into it. You can manage it with SNMP, Armon. It's got a web-based GUI, or, as you're going to see, we can join it to the Omada controller. Now, this one has 2 SFP ports and 8 gigabit ports that are PoE+, and it's got a 150-watt total budget. Here's one thing that I'm going to have to find out is the 24-port that I have, can I upgrade the firmware and join it to Omada? Because I believe on the sticker for that one, it doesn't say anything about Omada. So that'd be pretty cool if I could do that, if I could upgrade the firmware, because the other one that I have is a Jetstream 24-port. So it'll be interesting to see if I can just pull that into the ecosystem with a firmware upgrade. I would imagine that it's possible, but whether they have the firmware or not, that's what I don't know. All right, the last thing in this box. Now, I don't have to send this back. I negotiated that I get to keep it because if I have clients who are going to start buying this stuff, I have to be able to touch it. And so basically, I told TP-Link, like, if you want me to commit to this, I would like to keep this gear, keep it in the lab like I do with all the gear. It never gets sold. I keep it here, and when people need configurations, we can do them up right in the lab. Then the last thing that I've got here is a SafeStream multi-gigabit WAN VPN router, the TLR605. You can have up to 4 WAN ports and 1 LAN port. And it'll do IPsec, OpenVPN, PPTP, L2TP. They're all gigabit. It'll do load balancing. Once again, you can manage this standalone or you can pull it into the controller. So it says one-click auto VPN secures and encrypts. So you must be able to do a site-to-site in the controller with this using one click. Supports IPsec, PPTP, L2TP, L2TP over IPsec, and OpenVPN. Advanced firewall policies protect your network. IP, MAC, URL filtering. Powerful traffic control. Multi-WAN load balancing satisfies various internet. So bandwidth control and session limits. So this is more on the business side, but we will pair this with Synology and really lock the kids down with this. So we'll see what happens. But that's it. I am super excited about that, and we're just gonna have to see how it shakes out. Over to the comments real quick. It does not double as a plate. That is hilarious. So David says, if TP-Link tightens up on security and establishes a solid product line for all use cases with an amazing controller that's not a blatant copy in design, they will be the new kings. I think they're heading that way anyway. And like I said, I think they borrowed the UI. I don't think that the underlying code. I mean, maybe they're using GPL stuff, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see. All right. Hey, John. Alonzo says, I sold my TP-Link switches and APs for FiberStore switches and APs, then sold everything for Unifi switches and APs. Yeah, Alonzo, you've done quite a bit of trading there. But I can't wait for that other vendor. You know, they're 8 in the world. They run the data centers that run TikTok, and I'll be the first content creator in the United States, I believe, that has signed a deal with them. And I don't even think they have a distributor here, which may be part of the holdup. So we'll see what happens. But I do, once again, want to thank you all for being here. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. If you need IT consulting, you can go to williehowe.com, fill out the contact form. Someone will be in touch with you as soon as possible. If you'd like to support the channel by using all of our affiliate links, they are below. They don't change your price, but they do kick a couple bucks to the channel. Once again, I want everybody to have a fantastic Saturday night. I hope you're relaxing, or Saturday, wherever it is, or Sunday, wherever it is that you are. Be safe, be awesome, and as always, I will see you in